I assume you must play with a diadem paddle.
Yes, I play with the Warrior Edge V2, the bright pink one.
Not that one.
No, so the second version of that, the new one, which I love. I think it's a brilliant paddle. But tomorrow I'm going to be trying the Edge 18K Power Pro.
Obviously diadem.
Yeah, diadem. So it's the one. It's got a really funky edge surface with lots of almost diamond or squares on it.
Okay.
So it's great for spin.
Well, that's their logo, isn't it?
Yeah. Great for spin, and it looks really pretty as well. But the one I'm playing with tomorrow, I think it's got a slightly longer handle. So something I'm trying to practice at the moment is a two-handed backhand, and so this will provide the space for that. Whereas my current one is more designed for one hand. So it'll be really interesting to give it a go and see how we get on.
Because I see a lot more people trying to play with two hands
yes.
Especially in a sort of defensive modes.
Absolutely,
You need that little bit of help.
Yes, a little bit of extra power behind it.
But I mean, we get a lot of tennis players that come into the club, and obviously a lot of people like to use lots of spin.
Mm-hmm.
But even when I was chatting to Sadia when she was coaching us, she said a lot of the top players don't spin a lot.
No,
it's more about patience and placement and
absolutely, yeah. I think a lot of people go through a phase of when they start putting lots of spin on it, and then they win loads of points, and they think, I've hit the jackpot here. This is how you play pickleball. This is how you win. But as they start to get better and play against better players, they realise actually people can handle the spin. Yeah, and we'll just keep resetting it, and eventually they'll try and put spin on it. They'll put too much or too little, and it'll go flying out the back. I think it's in that situation when people start to realise. So do you think that's like effective.
So where are you talking about? Maybe when you say better players, like the 4.5 upwards.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, where does pro start?
Oh,
5.5, 6.
I guess officially, I think pro is 5.0 plus.
5.0 plus. Okay.
But. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, really. I guess it depends on who you talk to.
My 3.8 doesn't work. But problem with the rating is you've got to start somewhere, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to have this conversation because Dupro rating, and I know Andre Agassi's bought the business with some other people, and they bought it when he says it's, if we get it right, wherever you go, you could just turn up and then someone says, right, I'm a 3.5, and you all play competitively nicely. And there's the algorithm, there's so much that's going on in there that can help you, but it doesn't seem to be there yet. But you've got to start somewhere, I suppose. Yeah. I just wonder whether there'll ever be a time like in golf, if you've got a handicap, that if you play in a match against a 5 and you're a 3.5, you might get a 3-point start or something.
I like that idea.
Which would encourage both of you, though, isn't it? He's like, I just need to get 1 or 2 points, and then you've got to fight really hard.
Absolutely.
So what do you love about it? Apart from the community side, I mean, is it the technical? Is it the just being in the moment, or is it everything? I don't know. You tell me. What is it you love about if your background was badminton? Yeah,
I guess I quite like that you can have such long rallies. You can sometimes just go for ever and ever and ever, and it's very frustrating when you're just dinking for ages. Well, not frustrating. It's enjoyable, but obviously frustrating when you're waiting for it to pop up. Whereas badminton, I think it was generally over pretty quickly, the rallies. You do a good shot, you do little net shots, and then somebody would smash it, and that's pretty much the end of it. Whereas I think pickleball, because you can have these longer rallies, and you're thinking about all the different shots as well, and trying to perfect your third shot drop, run to the net, do your dinks, somebody speeds it up, reset, lob, whatever. And I love that there's such a range of shots, and it's just, very, very good for the mental side of things, I think.
Yeah, because you're in the moment. You're not thinking of anything else, are you?
Exactly, yeah. You're so focused on what's going on.
And that's why I think it'd be so good for kids, isn't it? Because one is, you can't use your phone when you're playing pickleball.
Absolutely.
And you're in the moment and you're just focusing. Rob, when I was speaking to Rob, he was saying that he plans 5 to 9 shots ahead, a bit like a chess game.
Oh gosh,
working it, trying to work the player out and work them out. I'm not sure I do that, whether I do it consciously or maybe instinctively. I think when you're doing dinking, you just get into dinking rallies and just get it back. It's who's going to break first and do the speed up, or is it when is a ball attackable, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Would you? if you could change any rules, had you ever thought,
ooh,
if you had a choice to say, oh, well, this could be better if we did this, or?
That's a really interesting question.
Bonus point for an Ernie or something like that?
Oh,
or?
yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Maybe, I guess I did quite like it because when we were playing the other day, I managed to win a game. I served and it hit the net and went in, and they didn't get there. And back in the day, that used to be a let, and you'd play the serve again.
It was a let, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not. No, it's not a let.
No,
is
it's not anymore.
There's only one let in pickleball, isn't it?
If it hits the bar, yeah,
the horizontal bar.
So I think if I could change one rule, it would be that if it hits the net on the serve, you play a let. Because that is the most frustrating thing. It was such a rubbish point to win the game on as well.
It's not really skill, is it?
No, it's not. It's pure luck.
Pure luck, isn't it? Some people will say they hit it low and hard with loads of spin, so it just clips over. But yeah,
not convinced.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So how can we campaign for rule changes?
I don't really know.
No.
I guess you.
Because the rules are made in America, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess you'd have to. Is it the US Pickleball Federation?
Yeah, I suppose it must.
So maybe we need to get in contact with them, say put it back.
So, any other sports you do apart from badminton, or have you picked up a badminton racket?
I tried picking up a badminton racket around this time last year. Turns out I can't play for toffee now. I'm
really
awful. I guess I'm so accustomed now to the length of a paddle that when I'm trying to play with a badminton racket, I keep trying to hit the post rather than with the head.
Okay.
And it's just, I think badminton mixed as well, because I'm quite tall. I'm 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
The woman stands at the front and sort of hits all the little shots, and I hated that because I would often be taller than the man stood behind me, and the amount of times I got hit in the back of the head, which might have been my own fault. Maybe I wasn't ducking down enough.
No,
but I wasn't a fan of that. So playing mixed and playing badminton again, I realised as much as I do love the sport still, I love pickleball far more. And I've tried kickboxing recently.
Wow.
Which
that's very different. Have you
just
got any
thought I'd shake
plans to
things up
kick
a bit.
someone
Yeah.
while you're playing
Never
pickleball?
know. Yeah, if I get a bit angry, you never know. Watch out. But that was just, I thought, for a bit of cardio and that side of things.
Yeah.
And I also do scuba diving, which
wow.
I don't know if you class that as a sport or not, but...
Yeah, I don't know how you define a sport. I thought they say that if you have to change your shoes or your footwear, that's a sport. So darts is darts considered a sport, you see?
Well, yeah, I used to get into... We had a boy in my school who was a very good chess player, and he insisted chess was a sport, and nothing you could say would change his mind.
Is that not a pastime? Maybe.
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
I don't know, it's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's the thing about pickleball, though, isn't it? It hasn't been recognised as a sport by, is it Sport England yet? Or this is...
I'm not sure about
that.
I
think that's where this conversation is. Who should be running it, isn't it? So because to get money, you need to be recognised by Sport England. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, this paper, this article that James was involved with, and who should be running it. Because I know, going back to Padel, they're run by the LTA, aren't they? And I've heard that they're not really happy with how it's going.
I mean, it's silly to have a tennis association running another sport. Like, you wouldn't say, yes, we have, for example, in a school, we have 4 badminton courts on a tennis court, so therefore it's going to be run by the LTA. Yeah. It wouldn't make sense. No. So I don't understand why you'd have a tennis association running a pickleball club, organisation. It just, it doesn't make sense at all to me. So hopefully that won't happen.
Because Pickleball England, Karen been doing a great job, haven't they?
She's absolutely fantastic. Yeah,
he needs help, and I think that's why they've got this new role, Martin, national director, and I think they've got regional directors as well, haven't they? Because I think there's people like
Elaine Shallcross, I think, is regional director for
Simon
Northwest.
Farr looks after Hampshire or something like that. So, and then hopefully there'll be some sponsors. I hear rumours that possibly in the next 12, 15 months there might be a pickleball centre somewhere around here, because
that'd be good.
Because didn't some guys take over Telford and set up a...
Yes, I think they've got 4 courts there, I believe.
But it works as a business model?
I mean, it's not surprising. Like, the one thing we are struggling for is court space. Like, I tried to get a club set up in Reading last year, and there's just nowhere that has enough time and space for us to have a regular venue.
But when are you trying to play... Because I understand that during the day is often quite easy at leisure centres, and obviously for the older demographic, you might have a bit more time. The retired. But I mean, I suppose if pickleball clubs for schools, I suppose you get associated, you could do it during the day, couldn't you?
Yep. But yeah, for the general working population though, which I would say probably is still the majority of pickleball. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of retired players as well, but I think we do need to have the venues that can host in the evenings. So hopefully it'd be lovely to have one round here, because there's a lot of pickleball clubs. If you consider Fleet, Farnham and Aldershot, or Runnymede Royals, Bracknell, obviously Basingstoke now, and down in Southampton too, there would be the demand there for a proper pickleball centre. Yeah,
because I think, well, we play Monday night at different location, Tuesday night at different location, Wednesday night at different location, Thursday night at different location. I think we've got 4 or 5 locations where we go. Fortunately, they're all sort of within sort of 20 minutes away. But yeah, it's that's, like you say, that's the thing. And they're all 2-hour sessions, so you sort of cram a lot in. And I think that's where, as a club, we've got to a point where like 70 people, members, and we've got a waiting list of 50, and how can you cater for those? And the other clubs have the same problem. So whether we could all sort of have one location where we could share, and people could come in and play whenever, that would be the dream, wouldn't it?
It would, absolutely, 100%.
So what are you gonna? What are you looking to what are you looking to achieve in the next sort of 5 years, or in all aspects of the game, playing, coaching?
I want to keep improving without a shadow of a doubt, and I think hopefully
you recognise as a pro.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to do that.
No,
it'd be too much pressure. You have to achieve. Then you can't have an off day. I very much I want to, certainly. I've won medals at 4.0 and 4.0 plus, and like in smaller tournaments, I've won medals at 5.0, but not against 5.0 players.
Right.
So I guess this year the goal is to win a 4.5 medal and a genuine 4.5 medal, and then start playing in the open category more frequently.
And are there enough tournaments for that?
Certainly, yeah. I mean, between the English Open and English Nationals, you definitely get a really good tournament.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on who shows up.
Yeah.
Like some tournaments, you're going to get a great game, and others, it's going to be good fun, but it's not going to be at the same standard.
No, and I think that category is quite wide open, isn't it? The sort of 3.5s to 4s, the 4s to 4.5s. It's where people, again, how you get your DUPA rating, and where is that rating getting measured? Mm-hmm. I think the Nationals and the Open probably are a really good place to get that.
Definitely.
But unless all the tournaments, because I don't know if Steve...
He doesn't put his on DUPA.
He doesn't put his on DUPA, which would probably help a lot of people as well.
Definitely.
I don't know who else runs tournaments in the UK. I only know Steve, really.
Yeah, I guess the Cambridge tournaments, the team tournaments, always put on DUPA, which is very handy.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great fun. I highly recommend...
who's that?
Getting in Cambridge Pickleball Club. So it's Karen Duggan, and they put on a really, really good tournament. I mean, they sell out within sort of minutes. They're that popular.
Why is it so good? What makes a good tournament?
So I guess with the team tournament, because there's 4 of you, so 2 men and 2 women,
right? And
you play with each person against the other pairs. So you get a women's and 2 mixed,
right?
In each round, per person in each round. Or sorry, men's if you're not.
Is
it
woman. Gender doubles or is it just mixed?
So gender doubles. So 2 lots of gender doubles and then 4 lots of mixed, where each gender plays with the other gender.
Yeah.
And so you get 6 games against the other team
per match.
Per match.
Right.
And I think there were, I want to say 8 or 10 teams in the 4.0 plus or the open category.
Right.
In Cambridge back in February. And then there was 3.5 and 3.0, I believe, as well. So there's lots and lots of teams there. And it's such a interesting way to playing with everyone against everyone.
So you have a team, but it has to play in one category,
yes.
Obviously.
Yeah, so you'd have to be either in 4.0 or 3.5, yeah.
Do you play in the SEPL?
I did last year. I played for the London Bears last year.
London Pickleball?
Yeah.
The Bears?
Yeah. But this year, Basingstoke is part of the South West League, so we're waiting for that to find out more about that. We're not allowed in the South East League anymore. But
as part of the SEPL leagues?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think they're making different regions now.
Yeah, so I think the South East, Hampshire is now counted as South West.
Right.
Which is very confusing because I'm South East Water.
Well, I think we were playing in Woking last year and we technically we are Hampshire. I think we were supposed to sort of go that way, but I think everyone
snuck in.
We've managed to sneak in and stay in at the Sepal. We've got 3 teams in.
Yeah, I was going to say you've got quite a few, haven't you?
Yeah. So I think that's great as well. I don't know if that goes into Dupra though, or does it?
No, well, certainly last year I don't think it did.
That would help as well, wouldn't it?
It would. Yeah, I guess it's a lot of extra work for the organisers.
Yeah.
I know when Dad runs tournaments at home, he does put them into Dupra, and there's a big spreadsheet, and it's got to be very specifically formatted and then submitted to Dupra, and they deal with it.
I think the other day, I think we do it at our club or something, and I got a load of like, your score's been deleted. I don't know why. I don't even
just randomly
deleted.
You just sort of look at it and go, okay.
Yeah, but because that's the thing, isn't it? We went to the Arborfield tournament, my wife and I, and it was like, you certainly sort straight away, you go, you're not a 3.5, you're a 3 or you're a 4 plus, and I'm not sure what you're achieving playing at this level,
I couldn't agree more. I've got, it's a big problem I'm having with the Basingstoke players, where some of them are sort of winning at 3-0 and then continuing to enter 3-0, even though I'm saying, no, you should, it's the etiquette. You move up to 3-5 now. It's not fair to keep entering.
What's that phrase for chasing medals?
Sandbagging.
Sandbagging, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, I think if they were...
Maybe we should name and shame.
It's tempting. I think, to be fair to them, they probably are between a 3 and a 3-5. And again, it's who shows up on the day and who enters. But they're definitely not 3-0 players. And it's really frustrating for me to continue to try and convince them, but they don't want to move up a level and just get thrashed by, let's say, 4-0s entering 3-5. So it's a tricky position to be in. And I think it's certainly worse at the lower levels at 3-0 and 3-5. There's a lot more people who don't know their level. That they're beginners, so they enter what they think is right, and that's.
But Dupra's so specific. You could go like 3.5 to 3.75, and you could go up because I think mine's like 3.819. I don't know how, but whatever it is, with this week and then next week or down. Yeah, I think it went up one week when I didn't do anything, but that would sort of, I don't know if people, because I think it's really important to get the sort of the community right, because then people, I think the worst thing for people is getting beaten. I don't mind being beaten if I'm beaten by better players. I don't if that margin's so big, it's not great.
No, absolutely.
Okay, so where does Think Wisely coaching end up in 5 years' time?
That's a great question. I guess
where do you want it to be?
Yeah, I really want to start organising more tournaments and festivals. It's actually a year ago today when I ran my first tournament in Basingstoke, which ended up being with 2 weeks' notice, and we still got 44 people playing.
Right.
And it was really good fun. And again, it's the community, and I love getting people who wouldn't travel for a tournament or wouldn't normally play, just playing at something smaller. So I'm hoping this is where I'm trying to work with the NTA to get something organised, because they say everything has to go through them.
Through because of your club?
Yes. So
what about if you worked with other clubs?
I mean, if I was to go to another venue, that would be fine, and so I probably will do a bit of that as well.
How many courts do you need for a decent tournament?
I mean, so
you think?
I would normally say around 10 people per court. So when in Basingstoke, when I had 44, I had 4 courts, so it was pushing it a tiny bit, but it was okay. I think with 10 people per court, you're sat off.
With 5 courts, 50 people.
Yeah.
We have a venue with 5 courts.
Yeah, well, there you go. That can work. We could get something figured out there.
Yeah, I think we could. Yeah. Oh no, I'd love the idea of a tournament. I mean, not to knock on Steve's thing. I mean, Steve.
I've spoken with Steve about it, and we were really keen to do something together at some point.
He's obviously trodden the path and knows all the do's and the don'ts, and all the difficulties that he's come across. Mm-hmm. But I think he's exhausted. I think when I saw him at Arborfield, he's been doing a tournament every week.
Oh yeah, I think he said he had a run of 7 weeks of tournaments. Yeah, so I think it's just coming towards the end of that now, and I think he's looking forward to the
Saturday
break.
and Sundays. That's good. But I mean, but the good thing is it gets it out there, doesn't it? People
exactly, and in all the different places as well. The people who aren't willing to travel, they still have the opportunity to play, which is just fantastic. It's what pickleball is all about, getting people playing. And I think that's what he's very keen to do, isn't it? It's to stop people from like going into retirement home early, or just they can't play tennis anymore, so they can play pickleball instead.
Well, exactly. Because there's a category, isn't there? I think at the Open show over 75s.
I think, yeah.
So when we did Red Nose Day, I don't know how old this couple was. They turned up, but I'm convinced they were in their 80s, and they were old tennis players, but they had a little knockabout, and I think the wife just looked at me and went, "Oh, we can do this," because it's not overly offensive on your body, is it?
Absolutely.
You know, you have to move, and if you don't want to run, you don't have to run, do you?
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of that. If somebody lobs me, I'll just stand there and look at them.
Now, there's an interesting rule we could have. You know, if you're sort of a certain age, maybe no lobbing.
No lobbing. Because
it's also quite dangerous for people. You know, if you can't track backwards and you're sort of limited in your range of movement. Yeah. Is there lobbing for disabled wheelchair?
Oh yeah, they can lob, and but they're so quick. They just sort of spin their wheels and off they go and get them.
I'd love to see that grow.
Yeah, I think they've got a wheelchair category again at the English Open if you're going up for that.
Yeah, I think we're going up on the Sunday and the Monday, doing mixed doubles and gender doubles. First time at the Open, never done it before.
Fantastic! It's a great venue. It's really good fun.
We have entered into the gender doubles fours with a guy from Aldershot, and then my wife and I are doing the 3.5s in the mixed.
Brilliant.
No, looking forward to that. That's going to be great. So 5 years, so you're going to be doing tournaments. What about the coaching? Is that going to continue?
Definitely.
You're going to grow that?
Yeah, I'd like to grow that.
Team or people, or would you want an academy? Or
I think it would probably just stay me. I've got sort of
Maisie's mob. I know.
I think I've got corporate career goals for the moment,
right?
So I'll probably stick with that as my full-time job. But I love the idea of just, I've got a free couple of hours on Saturdays. Anybody fancy a bit of coaching or getting booked? Like I'm going to Winchester on the 27th of April to coach 8 players who are all relatively new, I think, to the sport. But I'm so excited to go down and just help them learn the rules and get a bit more into it.
That's great. Could you see yourself doing a job in pickleball full time if that was possible?
If something came up, yes, definitely. And if one goal of my life is to have and run a large company. I don't think I could do that with coaching.
Could be part of it.
Yeah, it could be part of it. Just a general pickleball company. But
I think this is part of the reason why I got involved with this. I just feel, I don't know, internally there's this sport that's just going to grow and grow and grow.
Definitely.
And if you can be part of it early and go along the ride, I think there's some exciting times ahead, whether it be coaching, I don't know, administrative sides, I don't know, organising things like tournaments, getting involved with schools. Just the fact that I think, the podcast, I think we're in our, I've done 5 episodes that have been posted. And yet within that, one guy said I was inspired by it and want to introduce it to in a holiday club, and that's great. And then I said to him, "How many, James, do you think?" He said, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to get 5 people or 20 people, but but often I think, I just think there's so much potential, isn't there?"
Yeah, and people are keen. Like, for example, I started 9 years ago, and you said pickleball to anybody, and you just got a funny look. They thought you were just talking nonsense.
What do you think of the name?
I quite like it. It's unique. People are. I mean, I've spoken to a few people who solely refer to it as Picketball.
Picketball.
They haven't quite figured out that it was Pickleball. And I to be fair, I think Picket probably makes just as much sense. But they just got it in their head that it was Picket, and it took a while to break that habit for them. But
do you know the true story behind the name?
The boats, wasn't it? It was either the dog or the boats, but I think
the dog is a fabricated story. It's a nice, it's a lovely story, but I think it's to do with boats or
pickle
something.
Boats, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a combination of things, and pickle boat is a mixture of stuff, isn't it? Yeah, I think keeping the name unique, I think that's what separates it.
It makes it a bit of fun, and while still most people look at you a little bit funny, there's a lot more that recognise it and they go, "Oh yeah, I've heard about that in the news," or "It seems to be all over the place nowadays." Yeah, I do.
There was I think Roger Federer did an advert, I think for his own trainer, is it?
Right.
On or I don't know.
Yes, yeah.
But he was saying this is an all-court shoe for tennis and padel, and he went, should I mention pickleball? So he actually mentioned pickleball, which is great.
Yeah.
I think every time there's a clip, people share it, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Like
there's a mention.
Yeah, I remember it was on The Simpsons at one point. And
Was
people
it?
just went crazy. Oh my gosh, it's our sport. It's actually on mainstream TV.
Oh, there's a series on Apple with Harrison Ford and Jason Segel.
Mm-hmm.
And they are therapists,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it is I've got to go and play pickleball tonight. And there's a clip of him going off to play pickleball, and then this other guy said to Harrison Ford, he said, "What is this pickleball?" And Harrison Ford goes, "It's only the largest growing sport in America." And you're sitting there going, "Yes."
You just know the directors love
my wife
pickleball.
and I just clicked on took a picture on TV and like shared it around with people. But, it's a lovely sport, and this is what I love about being able to meet people like yourselves in the community that have a passion for it, and you're young, and how would you describe it to somebody? So if someone said to you, right, you go, because I've said, people say, you play pickleball.
What is pickleball?
What is pickleball? How do you describe it?
I usually say sort of if tennis, table tennis, and badminton had a drunken one night stand, and this is what comes out the other end. Little random mix of the three. There's elements of each one, like badminton sized court, but net that's just a bit lower than a tennis net, ball that's tennis ball sized pretty much, but like a ping pong ball with holes in it. And most people look at you a bit weird there. And then similar to a table tennis paddle or bat, but A4 paper sized and thicker. That's how I tend to go.
It's quite a big description, isn't it? And you've left the squash people out as well, by the way. You know,
have I?
Yeah, so you could offend one of the racket sports. Yeah, it's the other way. It's like beach
tennis,
paddle or whatever. You remember you used to play with the little like a table tennis ball and on the beach. And I think Rob said it's an upside down table tennis, and it's I think it's just a great sport. It's a shame you can't sort of just walk in and go and play somewhere.
Yeah, but I think that will come because isn't Better Leisure Centres, I think they're now, or GLL, I think they're now offering pickleball as sort of a sport on their list. So they've got their badminton courts, and I think now you can hire it as a pickleball court. And certainly at the venue we went to in London yesterday, which was, it's called Flaxman Sports Centre or something. Right. You can book the courts for pickleball and they'll set up a net for you and you can just go and play. In the same way you can book a badminton court and they'll set up a badminton net.
And will they mark it out as a proper pickleball size court?
It's a badminton court with a taped kitchen line.
That's the extra 7 inches that
exactly.
is really important.
But it's really cool because they were able to do that, because I can certainly remember a time where that would absolutely not be the case.
So I think, we've been chatting nearly an hour, so I'm happy to wrap it all up. Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed it.
It's been really good fun. Really interesting to do something like this.
Oh, good. And who do you think would be good to get on here and have a chat with? Who would you like to see me have a conversation with?
I certainly think Andy, the wheelchair player from Portsmouth, would be a really good one.
Yeah.
If my dad was more local, I'd say he's a brilliant one to talk to.
I was told to talk about your dad because he's really into his pickleball.
Is he? Next time
is he any good?
Yeah, he is actually. Yeah, he had a hip operation in July and he had a wrist operation for carpal tunnel in January. So
on his pickleball?
Yeah, on his pickleball hands.
Okay.
Yes, but it was amazing how quickly he was back on court. He was so keen after his hip operation. Yeah. He has one of those ball machines and he would just go down, I think he would sit in a chair and just hit balls just so he could play. Yeah, and I think he's still getting his confidence back, but he's really keen to.
Have you got any brothers or sisters?
I've got one younger sister.
Got her into it?
No, she's not the letdown. That's the complete wrong word. But she, sorry, Amy.
She loves you really.
Yeah, no, she doesn't play. But so me, mum, and dad, we all do.
Yeah.
But mum had an operation for a torn rotator cuff back in December.
Goodness me.
So, yeah, unfortunately, neither of them are playing.
These aren't all pickleball injuries, are they? Because if we don't want to discourage people.
Not at all. No, I think mum's is probably gardening. Lifting lots of heavy soil and that sort of thing.
So was dad a badminton player as well?
Yeah, badminton and tennis and squash. I think he did a bit of everything until he played pickleball, and then that was it for him.
You don't have to be a racket sports person to get into the sport, do you?
Well, no. So mum had never played any sport of note in her life, never a racket sport.
No.
And she started playing, I probably shouldn't age her, but we'll say in her 50s, she started playing after she'd had to listen to dad go on and on about it for years and years.
If you can't beat him, join him.
Exactly. And she absolutely loves it. And, they've got a nice group of ladies who will go and play together on a Tuesday morning. I think Tuesday morning.
That's great.
And it's just absolutely, you don't need any racket sport to play. And she's probably between a 3 and a 3.5 now, and that's with no particular. She's not working towards competing or anything. She's just playing because she loves to play.
I just had a thought. Why don't you get your dad to get a team together and come on a pickleball tour of the Southeast?
I mean, yeah.
We could organise, a match against Aldershot, a match against Fleet Aces, Basingstoke.
So, yeah,
get him down.
He
and then in between, I say, look, come on. What's Dad's name?
Yeah, Richard Wise.
Richard, and he can come on the podcast. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, we've got my grandma's based in Oxford.
Does she play?
No, she has come and watched though. She's very interested.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think you'd want to see her play, to be honest. Okay. But yeah, so he comes down relatively regularly. Okay. But obviously he's been injured so much recently that he's not been able to have a chance to play. So hopefully next time he comes down, he'll actually get to have a good game.
And do you play with him?
We've played together in one tournament. Normally, I don't particularly like playing with him because I take anybody's frustrations, I take very personally, which is a massive flaw of mine. I'll sort of be there in my own little world and somebody will get frustrated with themselves and I go, oh, that's not very nice. So Dad, he gets a bit frustrated with himself, and then
you take that upon yourself.
I take that upon myself. Okay. But we played together in Peterborough, October 22, and actually it was really good fun. We had a good time. I think we played relatively well, but yeah, that was the last time I think I played in a tournament with him. But we did have a good time, and I would play with him again now. I think as I'm maturing, I can take that.
And at the moment, do you have a favoured partner that you play with that you really gel with?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm sort of grooming Harry to be that favoured partner because I can practice regularly with him. But the person who I play with in mix the most is a guy up in Cumbria called Luke, who he's also 21.
Right.
Lovely, lovely guy. And we play really well together. We won gold at 4-0 at Nationals last year.
Oh wow!
And we just got bronze this weekend in Loughborough.
Oh wow! Well, excellent.
So, yeah, we have a good time.
You're a good combination. You're a force.
I think so. I think so. He's just so consistent,
right?
And he can sort of play singles around me. I can just stand there on the side of the court and watch the game.
But that's what the sport's about, though, isn't it? It's consistency, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Patience.
Yes. Yeah.
So, what would your parting comment to anyone? A tip? Or some advice?
I don't know if I'm qualified to give advice.
Well, you're coaching people.
That's true. I guess if it's anybody who hasn't played before, just try. Just give it a go, because I don't think I know anybody who's picked up a paddle, played it, and not loved it. It's just so much fun.
Bring it on, eh?
Exactly.
Maisie, thank you.
No, thank you.
Kind and really lovely to meet you.
It's been really lovely to meet you as well. Thank you.
Good luck in the finals.
Thank you very much.